the awakened morning, meditation and morning rituals. Small habits, big changes. Imagine waking up tomorrow feeling completely different, not because your circumstances have changed, but because you have. Picture stepping into your day with unshakable calm, crystal clear focus, and a deep sense of purpose that carries you through whatever challenges arise. This isn't fantasy. It's the natural result of dedicating just 20 to 30 minutes each morning to practices that have transformed millions of lives across centuries. The secret isn't in grand gestures or dramatic life overhauls. It's in the quiet power of small, consistent habits that create extraordinary changes from the inside out. The promise of dawn. Every morning, you receive a gift that most people unwrap carelessly and discard without thought. The first moments of a new day. These precious minutes, when your mind is still soft from sleep and your spirit hasn't yet been pulled in countless directions, hold transformative power. Yet most of us stumble through them, checking phones, rushing to coffee, immediately surrendering our inner landscape to external demands. What if there was another way? What if those first moments could become your greatest ally in creating the life you truly want to live? This audiobook is about reclaiming your mornings and, in doing so, reclaiming your life. It's about understanding that the quality of your entire day, your energy, focus, emotional resilience, and sense of fulfillment can be profoundly influenced by how you spend the first 30 minutes after you wake up. The practices we'll explore together aren't new or exotic. Meditation has been practiced for thousands of years across virtually every culture on Earth. Morning rituals have been the secret weapon of high achievers, spiritual seekers, and ordinary people seeking extraordinary peace for generations. What is new is our growing scientific understanding of why these practices work so powerfully and how to adapt them for modern life. You don't need hours of free time, expensive equipment, or perfect circumstances to begin. You need only willingness to experiment, the courage to start small, and the patience to let these gentle practices work their quiet magic in your life. Chapter 1. The Science of Sacred Mornings. Your brain in the early morning is fundamentally different from your brain at any other time of day. During the first hour after waking, your mind exists in what neuroscientists call a hypnagogic state, a bridge between the subconscious processing of sleep and the fully conscious awareness of your waking day. This state is characterized by increased neuroplasticity, heightened receptivity to new patterns, and reduced activity in the default mode network, the brain system responsible for self-referential thinking and worry. In simpler terms, your morning mind is uniquely primed for transformation. When you meditate during this window, you're not just relaxing, you're literally rewiring your brain's default responses to stress, challenge, and uncertainty. Regular meditation practice increases gray matter density in areas associated with learning, memory, and emotional regulation, while decreasing activity in the amygdala, your brain's alarm system. Over time, this creates what researchers call trait effects, lasting changes in how you experience and respond to life. But the benefits extend far beyond your brain. Morning meditation practices influence your entire nervous system, shifting you from the chronic low-level fight-or-flight state that characterizes modern life into what's known as the rest and digest response. This physiological shift affects everything from your immune function and digestion to your creativity and capacity for connection with others. The timing matters as much as the practice itself. When you begin your day with intentional practices rather than reactive responses, you establish what psychologists call mastery orientation, a sense of agency and control that colors every subsequent choice you make. Instead of feeling like life is happening to you, you begin each day with clear evidence that you have the power to shape your experience from within. This isn't wishful thinking, it's measurable biology. Studies show that people with consistent morning routines have lower cortisol levels throughout the day, better sleep quality, improved focus and decision-making abilities, and higher reported levels of life satisfaction. They're not just feeling better, they're literally functioning better at a cellular level. Chapter 2. The Art of Inner Stillness. Meditation is simultaneously the simplest and most profound practice available to human beings. At its essence, it's nothing more than paying attention to your breath, to the present moment, to the space of awareness in which all experience arises. Yet, within this simplicity lies extraordinary power. Most people approach meditation with misconceptions that make it unnecessarily difficult. They believe they need to stop their thoughts, achieve a blank mind, or experience some mystical state to be doing it right. These beliefs create frustration and often cause people to abandon the practice before they experience its benefits. The truth is far gentler. Meditation isn't about controlling your mind, it's about changing your relationship with your mind. You don't need to stop thoughts from arising. That's impossible and unnecessary. Instead, you learn to observe them without being swept away by them, to rest in the awareness that witnesses all mental activity without being disturbed by it. Think of your mind as a snow globe that's been shaken vigorously. Normally, you live inside that swirling chaos, identifying completely with every thought and emotion that passes through your awareness. Meditation teaches you to step back and become the one holding the globe, watching peacefully as the snow eventually settles into clarity. This shift in perspective, from being lost in the contents of consciousness to resting as consciousness itself, is the foundation of all psychological and spiritual freedom. When you're no longer at the mercy of every passing thought or feeling, you gain access to an unshakable peace that exists independent of external circumstances. The morning is the ideal time to cultivate this skill because your mind naturally carries less momentum from the day's activities. There's a quality of freshness and receptivity that makes it easier to settle into stillness. As you make meditation a consistent morning practice, you begin to carry this inner stability with you throughout your day. Chapter 3: Building your sacred morning foundation. Creating a sustainable morning practice isn't about forcing yourself into a rigid routine. It's about designing a flexible framework that honors both your circumstances and your deeper aspirations. The most effective morning rituals are those that feel like gifts you give yourself, rather than obligations you impose upon yourself. Start with what I call the minimum viable practice, the smallest possible commitment that you can maintain even on your worst days. This might be as simple as taking 3 conscious breaths before getting out of bed or sitting quietly for just 5 minutes. The key is consistency over duration. A 5-minute practice maintained daily is infinitely more valuable than an hour-long practice you abandon after a week. Your morning ritual should address 3 essential elements: grounding your body, centering your mind, and connecting with your deeper purpose. This might translate into gentle movement or stretching to awaken your physical self, meditation or breathwork to settle your mental activity, and journaling or intention setting to align with your values and goals. The specific practices matter less than the quality of attention you bring to them. Whether you choose sitting meditation, walking meditation, yoga, breathwork, or contemplative reading, the transformative element is presents your full, undivided attention to the present moment experience. Consider your morning practice as creating a foundation of peace that can support you throughout your day. Just as a building with a strong foundation can weather storms that would topple a structure built on sand, a day begun with intentional presence can maintain its equilibrium even when challenges arise. The goal isn't perfection, it's progression. Some mornings your meditation will feel effortless and blissful. Other mornings your mind will feel scattered and resistant. Both experiences are equally valuable parts of the practice. The magic lies not in how any individual session feels, but in the cumulative effect of showing up consistently with an open heart and curious mind. Chapter 4: The Breath as Gateway. If you learn only one technique from this entire audiobook, let it be conscious breathing. Your breath is always available, completely portable, and immediately effective. It's the bridge between your voluntary and involuntary nervous systems, the one aspect of your autonomic functions that you can directly influence. When you change your breathing, you instantly change your state of being. Most of us breathe shallowly throughout the day, using only the top portion of our lungs and keeping our nervous systems in a subtle state of activation. This unconscious breathing pattern contributes to anxiety, fatigue, and mental fog. Simply learning to breathe fully and consciously can transform your entire experience of life. Begin each morning by placing one hand on your chest and one on your belly. Breathe naturally for a few cycles, noticing which hand moves more. Most people will notice that the hand on their chest moves significantly more than the hand on their belly, indicating shallow breathing. Now begin to consciously direct your breath into your lower abdomen, allowing the hand on your belly to rise as you inhale and fall as you exhale. The hand on your chest should remain relatively still. This simple shift from chest breathing to belly breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, signaling to your body that it's safe to relax and restore. Your heart rate slows, your blood pressure decreases, and your mind naturally becomes calmer and more focused. Once you've established this foundation, you can explore more sophisticated breathing techniques. The 4-7-8 breath is particularly effective for morning practice. Inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 7, and exhale for a count of 8. This pattern further activates the relaxation response and can be used anytime you need to return to centeredness throughout your day. Box breathing, used by Navy SEALs and emergency responders, involves equal counts for inhaling, holding, exhaling, and holding again, perhaps 4 counts for each phase. This technique builds mental focus and emotional resilience while maintaining physiological calm. The beauty of breathwork is its immediate accessibility. You don't need to understand complex philosophy or master difficult postures. Your breath is with you always, ready to serve as an anchor to the present moment and a pathway to inner peace. Chapter 5. Mindful Movement and Body Awareness. Your body holds wisdom that your mind often overlooks. After hours of sleep, your physical self needs gentle awakening and movement to function optimally throughout the day. Incorporating mindful movement into your morning ritual creates a foundation of embodied presence that supports both your meditation practice and your daily activities. This doesn't require intense exercise or complicated routines. Simple stretches, done with full attention, can be profoundly centering. Begin by slowly moving your joints through their natural range of motion, gentle neck rolls, shoulder shrugs, spinal twists, and hip circles. Pay attention to sensations as they arise, noticing areas of tightness or tension without judgment. Yoga offers an ideal framework for mindful morning movement, combining physical postures with breath awareness and meditative focus. Even a 10-minute sequence can leave you feeling grounded, energized, and present. The key is moving slowly and deliberately, synchronizing each movement with your breath. Consider beginning with simple sun salutations, moving through the poses at perhaps half the speed you might normally use. Feel your feet connecting with the ground in mountain pose. Notice the lengthening of your spine as you reach toward the sky. Experience the forward fold as a surrender to gravity and an invitation to turn inward. Walking meditation offers another beautiful way to combine movement with mindfulness. If you have outdoor space available, a 10-minute mindful walk can serve as both physical activation and meditation practice. Walk slowly, perhaps half your normal pace, and place your attention on the sensations of your feet contacting the ground, the rhythm of your breath, and the feeling of air moving across your skin. Even if outdoor space isn't available, you can practice walking meditation in a small indoor area, moving back and forth in a straight line of just 10 or 15 feet. The practice isn't about covering distance. It's about cultivating present moment awareness while in motion. The goal of mindful movement isn't athletic achievement. It's the cultivation of embodied presence. When you begin your day by consciously inhabiting your body, you carry that groundedness with you into all your activities. You become less likely to get lost in mental chatter and more able to respond to situations from a place of integrated awareness. Chapter 6. The Power of Silence and Solitude. In our hyperconnected world, silence has become a rare and precious commodity. Most people's first instinct upon waking is to immediately fill the quiet with external stimulation, checking phones, turning on music or news, or jumping into conversation. This impulse, while understandable, robs us of one of the most powerful tools for inner development, the healing power of silence. Silence isn't empty, it's full of possibility. In the quiet spaces between thoughts, beyond the constant chatter of mental activity, lies a vast field of awareness that is your true nature. This isn't philosophical theory, it's something you can directly experience in any moment you choose, to stop, breathe, and listen to the space of consciousness itself. Morning silence is particularly potent because your mind hasn't yet been filled with the day's information and obligations. There's a natural stillness available that becomes increasingly difficult to access as the day progresses and your mental momentum builds. By consciously cultivating silence in the morning, you're not just giving yourself a few minutes of peace, you're training yourself to access that peace anytime you need it. Start simply by sitting in silence for just 5 minutes after waking. Don't try to meditate or focus on anything in particular. Simply sit quietly and notice what's present in your experience when you're not trying to change or improve anything. You might notice sounds, physical sensations, thoughts, or emotions. The practice is simply to be present with whatever arises without needing to do anything about it. This isn't passive inactivity, it's active receptivity. You're cultivating the capacity to rest in open awareness, to be fully present without needing to be constantly doing or achieving something. This skill, the ability to be comfortably present without external stimulation, is increasingly rare and increasingly valuable in our attention-fractured world. As you become more comfortable with silence, you may notice that it begins to reveal its deeper treasures. Insights arise spontaneously, creative solutions to problems emerge without effort, and a profound sense of peace and well-being naturally unfold. These aren't special experiences available only to advanced practitioners. They're the natural fruits of regularly returning to the silence within. Many people discover that their few minutes of morning silence become the most treasured part of their day, a sanctuary they can return to whenever life feels overwhelming or chaotic. In a world that constantly demands your attention, choosing to begin each day in silence is a radical act of self-care and inner sovereignty. Chapter 7. Journaling as Inner Dialogue. Writing can be a powerful complement to meditation, offering a different pathway for exploring your inner landscape and setting intentional direction for your day. Morning journaling isn't about creating polished prose or documenting events. It's about developing an honest, compassionate dialogue with yourself. The practice of morning pages, popularized by Julia Cameron, involves writing 3 pages of stream of consciousness content immediately upon waking. You write whatever comes to mind, without editing, censoring, or trying to make it meaningful. This practice serves as a mental cleansing, clearing away the psychological debris that might otherwise color your entire day. Many people resist journaling because they feel they have nothing important to write about or worry about their writing quality. These concerns miss the point entirely. Morning journaling is about process, not product. It's a tool for self-discovery and emotional processing, not literary achievement. Begin with just 5 minutes of free writing. Set a timer and write continuously until it rings. Keeping your pen moving even if you have to write, "I don't know what to write," repeatedly. Don't worry about grammar, spelling, or making sense. This isn't about creating something good. It's about creating space for whatever wants to emerge from your subconscious mind. Alternatively, you might prefer a more structured approach, responding to specific prompts each morning. Consider questions like, what am I feeling in this moment? What do I need today? What am I grateful for? What would I like to create or contribute today? What am I learning about myself? Some people find it helpful to divide their morning writing into 3 sections: appreciation, acknowledging what you're grateful for; awareness, noting what you're feeling or experiencing; and aspiration, setting intentions for the day. This framework provides structure while maintaining flexibility for whatever wants to emerge. The power of journaling lies partly in the act of translating nebulous thoughts and feelings into concrete words. This process of articulation often reveals patterns, insights, and solutions that remain hidden when experiences stay purely internal. Writing makes the unconscious conscious, giving you greater choice in how you respond to your inner experience. Additionally, journaling creates a record of your inner journey that can be incredibly valuable to review over time. Patterns become visible, growth becomes apparent, and you develop a deeper understanding of your own psychological rhythms and needs. Chapter 8. Setting Sacred Intentions. Intention setting is different from goal setting in both its process and its power. Goals are external targets you hope to achieve. Intentions are internal states you choose to embody. While goals depend on external circumstances and outcomes you can't fully control, intentions are always within your power to fulfill because they're about how you choose to show up in each moment. Morning intention setting helps you begin each day with clarity about who you want to be and how you want to move through your experiences. This isn't about adding more pressure or expectations to your life. It's about consciously aligning your actions with your deeper values and aspirations. Begin by taking a few moments to connect with your body and breath, allowing yourself to settle into the present moment. From this grounded place, ask yourself, how do I want to be today? The answer might be something like patient, creative, present, kind, or courageous. Choose one or two qualities that feel most important for this particular day. Spend a few moments imagining what it would feel like to embody these qualities throughout your day. See yourself responding to challenges with patience, engaging with work from creativity, or interacting with others from kindness. This visualization isn't just wishful thinking, it's actually programming your nervous system to recognize and support these states when opportunities arise. You might also set intentions around specific situations you'll encounter. If you have a difficult conversation ahead, you could set an intention to listen with an open heart. If you're facing a challenging project, you might intend to approach it with curiosity rather than stress. If your day feels overwhelming, you could intend to move through it with grace and self-compassion. The key is to choose intentions that inspire rather than pressure you. They should feel like gifts you're giving yourself and others, not burdens you're taking on. When you set an intention from a place of self-love rather than self-improvement, it becomes a source of energy rather than depletion. Throughout your day, you can return to your morning intentions as anchoring points. When you notice yourself becoming reactive or disconnected, simply remember your intention and allow it to guide you back to the state you want to embody. This isn't about perfect execution. It's about having a compass that can point you toward your true north whenever you need redirection. Many people find it helpful to write their intentions in their journal or speak them aloud as a form of commitment to themselves. The act of articulation makes the intention more concrete and memorable, increasing the likelihood that it will influence your choices throughout the day. Chapter 9. Navigating Common Challenges. Every person who attempts to establish a morning practice encounters obstacles. Understanding these challenges and having strategies for working with them can mean the difference between a practice that flourishes and one that withers after a few weeks of good intentions. The most common challenge is simply finding time. Many people feel their mornings are already too rushed to accommodate additional practices. The solution lies in reconsidering what finding time means. You don't find time. You choose how to use the time you have. Even 10 minutes of morning practice can be transformative if practiced consistently. Consider waking up just 15 minutes earlier. Most people can adjust to this small change within a week or two. Alternatively, look at how you currently spend your first 30 minutes awake. If you typically check your phone, browse social media, or watch news, you already have time available. You're simply choosing to use it in ways that may not serve your highest well-being. Another frequent obstacle is the feeling that you're not good at meditation, or that your mind is too busy for these practices. This misconception stems from misunderstanding what meditation actually is. A busy mind isn't a problem to solve, it's simply the starting point for practice. You don't need a calm mind to meditate. You meditate to develop the skill of finding calm within whatever mental activity is present. Some mornings your practice will feel effortless and blissful. Other mornings you'll feel restless, distracted, or resistant. Both experiences are equally valuable parts of the journey. The days when practice feels difficult are often when you're developing the most important skill, the ability to be present and compassionate with yourself even when conditions aren't ideal. Perfectionism is another common saboteur of morning practices. People often abandon their routine entirely if they miss a few days or if their practice doesn't match their idealized expectations. Remember that consistency is more important than perfection. Missing one day doesn't ruin your practice any more than missing one meal ruins your nutrition. Simply begin again the next day, without self-judgment or dramatic storytelling about your failure. Some people worry about practicing correctly or wonder if they're getting the techniques right. While proper instruction is valuable, the most important element is sincere engagement with the practices. Trust your direct experience over your conceptual understanding. If a practice leaves you feeling more centered, peaceful, or connected with yourself, it's working regardless of whether you're following every technical detail perfectly. Family or living situation challenges are also common. If you live with others who might be disturbed by or skeptical about your practices, find ways to practice that work within your circumstances. Meditation can be done silently and invisibly. Journaling can be done quietly. Even gentle movement can be practiced in small spaces without bothering others. Remember that establishing a new routine takes time. Research suggests it takes an average of 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic. Be patient with the process and kind to yourself as you develop this new way of beginning your day. Chapter 10: Advanced Practices and Deepening. As your morning practice matures, you may feel drawn to explore more sophisticated techniques or deepen your existing practices. This natural evolution reflects your growing capacity for sustained attention and your increasing appreciation for the subtler dimensions of inner work. One powerful way to deepen your meditation practice is to work with the space of awareness itself, rather than focusing on particular objects like breath or bodily sensations. This involves resting attention in the field of consciousness that witnesses all experience without being changed by any of it. Begin by settling into your usual meditation posture and spending a few minutes with breath awareness. Then gently withdraw attention from the breath and simply rest in the knowing awareness that was observing the breath. This might feel unfamiliar or even impossible at first. The mind is accustomed to having something to focus on and may feel lost without a clear object of attention. Be patient with this exploration. You're learning to identify with the space in which all experience arises rather than with the contents of that experience. This is perhaps the most profound shift possible in human consciousness. Another advanced technique involves working with sound and mantra. Choose a meaningful word or phrase, perhaps peace, love, soham, Sanskrit for I am, or any word that resonates with your spiritual understanding. Repeat this word silently in rhythm with your breath, allowing it to gradually dissolve into silence. The vibration of sacred sound can help settle the mind and open the heart in particularly profound ways. Visualization practices can also deepen your morning routine. You might spend a few minutes imagining yourself surrounded by golden light, breathing in peace and breathing out love, or visualizing your day unfolding with grace and ease. These practices work with the power of imagination to create internal states that then influence your external experience. For those drawn to movement practices, consider exploring more advanced forms of mindful movement. Tai Chi, Qigong, or more sophisticated yoga sequences can become moving meditations that integrate body, breath, and awareness in increasingly refined ways. The key is maintaining meditative attention throughout the movement, rather than simply going through physical motions. As your practice deepens, you might also experiment with longer periods of silence or more extensive journaling. Some practitioners enjoy dedicating one day a week to an extended morning practice, perhaps an hour or more of combined meditation, movement, and reflection. This weekly deepening can provide insights and rejuvenation that support your daily practice throughout the week. Remember that advancement in contemplative practice isn't measured by the complexity of techniques you can perform or the unusual experiences you might have. True deepening is reflected in increased peace, compassion, and wisdom in your daily life. The test of your practice isn't how you feel during meditation. It's how you respond to the inevitable challenges and opportunities that arise throughout your day. Chapter 11. Integration and Daily Carry. Over. The ultimate purpose of morning practice isn't to create a separate spiritual compartment in your life. It's to infuse your entire day with the qualities you cultivate in those early moments of intentional presence. The skills you develop during morning meditation, awareness, equanimity, compassion, and clarity, are meant to be lived, not just practiced. Throughout your day, you can create what I call micro-practices, brief returns to the state of presence you cultivated in the morning. This might be 3 conscious breaths before entering a meeting, a moment of gratitude while waiting in line, or a pause to check in with your body and breath while stuck in traffic. These small practices serve as bridges that connect your morning intention with your lived experience. The breath, in particular, serves as a portable anchor to presence. Since you're breathing all day anyway, you can use your breath as a regular reminder to return to the present moment. You might decide to take 1 conscious breath every time you open a door, check your phone, or transition between activities. These momentary returns to presence can dramatically shift the quality of your entire day. Physical sensations can also serve as gateways back to awareness. The feeling of your feet touching the ground, your hands resting on a surface, or your back against a chair can remind you to drop out of mental activity and into embodied presence. This is particularly useful during stressful moments when your mind might be creating elaborate stories about problems or projecting anxiety into the future. Many people find it helpful to set random alarms throughout their day as reminders to pause and reconnect with presence. When the alarm sounds, you take a moment to notice your breath, check in with your body, or remember your morning intention. This isn't interrupting your day. It's maintaining the thread of awareness that connects all your activities to a deeper sense of purpose and peace. The compassion you cultivate in morning practice can also be consciously extended throughout your day. When you notice judgment arising toward yourself or others, you can remember the kind awareness you practice in meditation and choose to respond from that same quality of heart. When frustration or impatience arise, you can treat these emotions with the same gentle attention you bring to challenging thoughts during meditation. Your morning intention becomes a filter through which you can evaluate choices throughout your day. If you set an intention to be patient, you can ask yourself, before responding to challenging situations, how would patience respond here? If your intention was creativity, you can look for opportunities to bring fresh perspective to routine tasks. The goal isn't to maintain the exact same mental state you experience during morning meditation throughout your entire day. That would be neither possible nor desirable. Instead, you're developing the capacity to return to centered awareness when you need it most, and to approach life's inevitable ups and downs with greater equanimity and wisdom. Chapter 12. Creating community and support. While morning practice is inherently personal and solitary, having community support can significantly strengthen your commitment and deepen your understanding. This doesn't necessarily mean joining organized groups, though that can be valuable. It might be as simple as finding one friend or family member who shares your interest in contemplative practice and agreeing to support each other's journey. Consider sharing your morning practice intentions with people who care about your well-being. This isn't about seeking approval or validation. It's about creating gentle accountability and the opportunity to share insights and challenges with others who understand the value of inner work. When someone knows you're committed to morning meditation, they're less likely to interrupt you during your practice time and more likely to support your efforts to maintain the routine. If you live with others, you might explore practicing together occasionally. Sitting in silent meditation with family members or housemates can create a beautiful shared experience and normalize contemplative practice within your home environment. Even young children can participate in simple breathing exercises or moments of quiet gratitude. Online communities can also provide valuable support, especially if you don't have like-minded people in your immediate environment. Many meditation apps and websites have community features where practitioners share experiences, ask questions, and encourage each other's practice. Be selective about which communities you engage with, choosing those that emphasize practice over theory and support over comparison. Books, podcasts, and online teachings can serve as ongoing sources of inspiration and instruction, but be careful not to let consumption of content about practice replace actual practice. It's easy to fall into the trap of endlessly reading about meditation while spending less time actually meditating. Use teachings as fuel for your practice rather than substitutes for it. Consider occasionally attending workshops, retreats, or classes related to meditation and mindfulness. These experiences can provide new techniques, deepen your understanding, and connect you with others on similar journeys. Even a single day-long workshop can reignite your enthusiasm and provide insights that support years of home practice. Remember that your practice itself is your greatest teacher. While community support and external guidance are valuable, the most important learning happens in the intimate relationship between your awareness and your direct experience. Trust what you discover in your own practice over what anyone else tells you should happen or what you think should be happening. Conclusion: the ripple effects of awakened mornings. As we reach the end of our exploration together, it's important to recognize that establishing a morning practice is not about adding another obligation to your already full life. It's about discovering a source of energy, clarity, and peace that actually makes everything else in your life flow more smoothly and feel more meaningful. The changes that come from consistent morning practice are often subtle at first. You might notice that you feel slightly more patient with difficult people, a little less reactive to stressful situations, or somewhat more creative in approaching challenges. These small shifts might seem insignificant, but they compound over time into profound transformations in how you experience life. After months of practice, many people report that they feel like they're living from a different center of gravity. Instead of being constantly pulled off balance by external circumstances, they maintain a core stability that allows them to respond rather than react to whatever arises. This isn't about becoming detached or emotionally numb. It's about developing the capacity to feel deeply while maintaining inner equilibrium. The ripple effects extend far beyond your personal experience. When you begin your day from a place of centered awareness, you bring that quality of presence to every interaction you have. Your co-workers, family members, and even strangers you encounter throughout your day benefit from your increased capacity for patience, compassion, and clarity. You become a source of calm in a world that often feels chaotic and rushed. Many practitioners discover that their morning practice becomes a refuge they can return to whenever life feels overwhelming. Knowing that you have this sanctuary available, that you can always come back to your breath, to the present moment, to the peace that exists within you, provides a profound sense of security that doesn't depend on external circumstances. The practice also tends to naturally expand into other areas of life. People who meditate regularly often find themselves drawn to more conscious choices about diet, exercise, relationships, and work. This isn't because meditation imposes rules or shoulds, but because increased awareness naturally leads to choices that support well-being and align with deeper values. Perhaps most importantly, morning practice teaches you that transformation doesn't require dramatic life changes or perfect conditions. It happens through small, consistent choices made with sincere intention. Every morning that you choose to sit quietly, breathe consciously, or set loving intentions, you're participating in the ancient human tradition of awakening consciousness and cultivating wisdom. Your morning practice is both deeply personal and part of something much larger than yourself. Throughout history, human beings have gathered in the early morning hours to pray, meditate, reflect, and prepare their hearts and minds for the day ahead. When you choose to begin your day with intention and presence, you join this timeless community of practitioners across all cultures and traditions who understand that how we begin determines much about where we end up. The invitation is simple. Tomorrow morning, before you reach for your phone or jump into the day's demands, give yourself the gift of a few conscious breaths, a moment of silence, or a minute of gentle stretching. Notice how this small choice affects the rest of your day. Trust your direct experience over any concepts or expectations about what should happen. Your future self, the person you'll be 6 months or a year from now, if you commit to this practice, is already grateful for the choice you're about to make. That version of you, living with greater peace, clarity, and joy, exists as a potential waiting to be realized through the simple daily choice to begin each morning with presence rather than pressure, intention rather than reaction, and love rather than fear. The alarm clock that wakes you tomorrow isn't just signaling the start of another day, it's offering you an opportunity to participate in your own transformation. What will you choose?